Imagine finding a coin that's worth millions. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, it could become a reality for you with the 1971 Lincoln penny. While most of us think of pennies as just loose change, the 1971 penny has a unique secret that could make it worth up to $1.8 million. But what makes this penny so valuable, and why is it fetching such a massive price? Stick around, as we uncover the fascinating story behind the 1971 Lincoln penny and why it's worth far more than its 1-cent face value. $2 million. Rarest coins. Chapter 1. The history of the Lincoln penny. Before we get into the story of the 1971 penny, let's talk about the Lincoln penny itself. First introduced in 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, the Lincoln penny has been an iconic piece of American currency ever since. Its reverse has seen different designs over the years, starting with the wheat ears and later transitioning to the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. The 1971 penny is part of that era, featuring the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse and Lincoln himself on the obverse, a simple and iconic design that most of us see every day in our pocket change. But what if I told you there's a rare variation of this penny, from this very year, that could change your financial future? Rarest coins. Chapter 2. The 1971 Lincoln penny. What makes it valuable? The 1971 Lincoln penny itself wasn't expected to be anything special. It was produced in large quantities by the U.S. Mint, and like most pennies, it circulated widely throughout the country. But here's where things take a twist. As with many valuable coins, a mistake in the minting process can sometimes result in a rarer coin that becomes highly prized among collectors. The 1971 penny you'll typically find in circulation looks just like any other penny from that era. But what you're really looking for is a very specific error that makes some 1971 pennies extremely valuable. The minting process that year was not without its flaws. The most famous and valuable variation of the 1971 penny is the 8 double die obverse error. Chapter 3. The A double die obverse error are the key to the $1 million penny. The double die obverse error occurs when the die used to strike the coin is improperly aligned, causing the design to be impressed twice on the same side. This error results in noticeable doubling on various parts of the coin's obverse, especially around Lincoln's portrait and the inscription Liberty. If you take a close look at these areas, you'll see a ghost image, almost like a blurry shadow, which signifies the double strike. It's not always easy to spot this error with the naked eye, so be sure to use magnification when inspecting your coins. The more pronounced the doubling, the more valuable the penny. Some of these 1971 pennies with the double die obverse error have sold for over $1.8 million in auctions. That's a huge jump from a coin that's technically worth just 1 cent. Rarest coins. Chapter 4. How to identify a valuable 1971 Lincoln penny. Now, you may be asking, how do I know if I've found one of these rare, $1 million pennies? The first thing you'll want to do is check for the doubling. As I mentioned before, the most common and valuable error on the 1971 penny is the double die obverse. Look closely at the lettering on the coin, especially around A Liberty and A In God We Trust. If you see any sort of shadowing or multiple images of the letters, you've likely found a double die penny. But it's not just about the doubling up, it's also about the condition of the coin. A penny with this error in mint condition, with little wear or damage, can significantly increase its value. $2 million. Rarest coins. For example, a 1971 double die penny in uncirculated condition with strong doubling could fetch upwards of $1.8 million at auction, whereas one in less than perfect condition might be worth thousands. Still a huge value for a penny. You might be holding a treasure in your pocket right now without even knowing it. That's right, there's a 1970 Lincoln penny that could be worth as much as $2 million. If you're a coin collector, you're probably already excited, but if you're just getting into the world of rare coins, you're in for a treat. In this video, we're going to explore why the 1970 Lincoln penny could be your ticket to a fortune. Stick around as we unravel the mystery behind this $1 million penny. Rarest coins. Chapter 1. A quick history of the Lincoln penny before we jump into the details of the 1970 Lincoln penny. Let's talk about the Lincoln penny itself. First introduced in 1909, the Lincoln penny has a rich history, designed to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. Over the years, this coin has gone through a number of changes, but one thing has remained constant: its place in the pockets of millions of Americans. By 1970, the Lincoln penny had settled into its classic design with the Lincoln Memorial featured on the reverse side. Little did anyone know, though, that a small mistake at the Denver Mint would make the 1970 penny one of the most sought-after coins in U.S. history. Rarest coins. Chapter 2, the 1970 Lincoln penny. What makes it special? At first glance, the 1970 Lincoln penny seems like any other penny from that year, featuring the iconic Lincoln Memorial on the reverse and Lincoln's portrait on the obverse. However, in 1970, a rare mistake was made during the minting process at the Denver Mint, making this penny worth far more than just 1 cent. The 1970 penny was produced at the Denver Mint, which is where things went wrong. While most 1970 pennies are worth just a penny, a small number of them are struck with the key error that has made them incredibly valuable today. Rarest coins. Chapter 3, the small date versus large date controversy. So, what is this error? It all comes down to the small date and large date varieties. You might be wondering, what's the difference between a small date and a large date? Well, in 1970, the U.S. Mint experimented with different dies, and there were 2 variations of the date. The difference lies in the size and positioning of the numbers in the year 1970. The small date variety features smaller, closer together numbers, while the large date variety has larger, more spaced out numbers. Now, here's where things get interesting. The 1970 small date is the one you need to look for. It's extremely rare and has become one of the most sought-after error coins in modern U.S. history. The large date is much more common, and while it's not worthless, it doesn't come close to the value of the rare small date variety. Rarest coins. Chapter 4, identifying the rare 1970 small date penny. So, how do you identify the elusive 1970 small date penny? The key is to examine the numbers in the date closely. Let's break down the differences for you. On the small date variety, the number 7 is much thinner, and the 0 is smaller and rounder compared to the large date penny. The numbers are also much closer together on the small date coin. You'll notice these subtle differences if you compare both side by side under magnification. Once you spot the small date variation, make sure to examine the overall condition of the coin. The better the condition, the higher its value, with pristine, uncirculated examples fetching the highest prices. Rarest coins. Chapter 5, why is the 1970 small date penny worth so much? So, why is the 1970 small date penny worth such a massive amount of money? Well, rarity plays a huge role. While millions of 1970 pennies were struck, only a very small number of them have. The 1968 Lincoln penny, a coin that might be sitting in your pocket right now, or perhaps buried in your change jar, could be worth a fortune. That's right, we're talking about a penny worth a mind-blowing $2.5 million. But what makes this penny so special? Rarest coins. How can something so small and unassuming hold such incredible value? Stick around as we dive into the story of the 1968 Lincoln penny and why it could be sitting on your desk, making you rich beyond your wildest dreams. Rarest coins. Chapter 1, the history of the Lincoln penny. Before we talk about the 1968 let's take a moment to understand the history of the Lincoln penny. The Lincoln Memorial design was introduced in 1959 to celebrate President Abraham Lincoln's 150th birthday. Ever since, the Lincoln penny has been a familiar piece of American currency, featuring Lincoln on the obverse, and various reverse designs that have changed over the years. It was during the 1960s that things took an interesting turn for this penny. By 1968, the U.S. Mint was churning out billions of pennies to meet the growing demand for low-value coins. But in the midst of all these mass productions, something went wrong, and one of those coins became highly prized by collectors. But why this specific coin? Rarest coins. Chapter 2. The 1968 Lincoln penny. What makes it special? The D mint mark on the coin is where the mystery begins. In 1968, the Denver Mint produced the penny with a small batch of them that are different from the rest. It's not about the design or the year alone, it's about something much rarer. A very small number of 1968 Lincoln pennies were struck with a mistake during production, a die error that changed their future forever. You see, these 1968 pennies were accidentally struck with an error that made them unique. The error is so subtle that most people wouldn't even notice. This special error is called the AD over D or A over mint mark error, where a second D mint mark was mistakenly struck over the first one. This minor mistake created a rare variant, and because so few of those pennies were made, they became incredibly sought after by collectors. Rarest coins. Chapter 3. How do you identify a 1968 penny worth $2.5 million? So, how do you know if you've found one of these million-dollar pennies? The first step is simple. Check the mint mark, flip the penny over, and you should see the mint mark D near the bottom right of the coin. But don't stop there, now it's time to take a closer look. You'll want to examine the mint mark closely. A normal 1968 D should have a clear, single D. However, if you look carefully at the D mint mark and spot the second D slightly off-center or stacked over the first D, you might have a rare find. This error makes the coin extremely valuable. Of course, finding a coin with this error in good condition makes all the difference. Coins that are in mint condition, with little wear and tear, can fetch a significantly higher price. Some of these coins in excellent condition have sold for over $2.5 million, making them one of the most valuable pennies in history. Rarest coins. Chapter 4. Why is this penny worth so much? You might be wondering, why is this penny worth so much? The answer lies in rarity, demand, and the mistake that happened at the mint. Rare coins always carry high value, but when a minting error like this occurs, the value skyrockets. Collectors and investors alike are constantly on the lookout for these error coins because they represent both historical significance and an extremely limited supply. Experts say that the rarity of these errors, coupled with the high demand from collectors, has made the 1968 penny a truly priceless piece of American history. But remember, finding one isn't easy. There were only a handful of these pennies that have survived in excellent condition. Chapter 5. How much can you? What if I told you that a seemingly ordinary 2015 penny could be worth a mind-blowing $1.1 million? Sounds unbelievable, right? Well, hold on tight, because today, we're diving into the story of a rare 2015 Lincoln penny that has become one of the most sought-after coins in the numismatic world. How did this penny go from being worth just 1 cent to possibly a fortune? Stay tuned, because we're about to uncover the mystery behind this extraordinary coin. Rarest coins. Chapter 1. The history of the Lincoln penny. Before we jump into the 2015 Lincoln penny, let's take a moment to understand the significance of this iconic coin. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. Over the years, this penny has undergone several design changes, yet it remains a constant in the pockets of Americans. By 2015, the Lincoln penny had undergone a transformation, with its reverse side featuring the Union Shield design. First introduced in 2010, this design symbolizes the Union of the States and represents a modern take on the Lincoln legacy. But little did we know, a mistake made during the minting process in 2015 would send a few lucky pennies skyrocketing in value. $1 million. Rarest coins. Chapter 2. The 2015 Lincoln penny. A look at the coin. Cut to a close-up of a 2015 Lincoln penny, showing the obverse with President Lincoln's portrait and the reverse with the Union Shield. Narrator. At first glance, the 2015 Lincoln penny looks like any other penny in circulation. It features President Lincoln's portrait on the obverse, with the updated Union Shield reverse design. It seems like a regular penny, right? But hidden beneath its copper-plated surface is a rare minting error that has led to a massive value surge. Rarest coins. The 2015 penny in question was produced at the Denver Mint, and while most of these coins are worth just 1 cent, a very small number were struck with an error that has made them worth hundreds of thousands, and in some cases, even millions of dollars. Chapter 3. The 2015 Lincoln penny error are the key to the $1 million coin. So, what's the big deal with the 2015 Lincoln penny? The answer lies in a very specific error, the A double die variety. In simple terms, a double die occurs when the design of the coin is imprinted onto the die more than once, resulting in a noticeable shift in the details on the coin itself. On the 2015 Lincoln penny, this error is most noticeable on the inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." These areas show clear signs of doubling, where the letters appear to be slightly offset, giving the coin a unique and distinctive appearance. This kind of error is incredibly rare and highly valued by collectors. Rarest coins. Chapter 4. Identifying the double die error. If you're wondering how you can spot this rare 2015 Lincoln penny, here's what you need to look for. The key is to carefully inspect the obverse side of the coin, especially around the inscriptions. Look closely at the word "Day Liberty." On a normal 2015 penny, the lettering should be sharp and clear, but on a double die coin, you'll notice a slight doubling effect, where the letters appear to be repeated or doubled, giving them a blurry, shadowy appearance. Rarest coins. Similarly, the phrase "A and God Be Trust" will show doubling as well. The key is to look for a noticeable offset in the design, where the letters appear to overlap, creating a ghosting effect. If you think you found a 2015 double die penny, make sure to inspect it carefully and compare it with other regular 2015 pennies to confirm the doubling. The more pronounced the doubling, the more valuable the coin is likely to be. Chapter 5. Why is the 2015 Lincoln penny worth so much? What if I told you that the very penny you might be tossing into your pocket change jar could actually be worth over $1 million? Rarest coins. That's right, the 1979 Lincoln penny, typically valued as just 1 cent, could be worth a staggering $1.3 million. But how is this possible? What makes the 1979 penny so special, and why are collectors willing to pay such an insane amount for it? Stick around, because we're about to dive deep into the mystery of this rare coin and how it could make you rich beyond your wildest dreams. Rarest coins. Chapter 1. The legacy of the Lincoln penny. Lincoln penny. Transitioning into, before we talk about the 1979 Lincoln penny, let's take a moment to understand the history behind the Lincoln penny itself. First introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth, the Lincoln penny quickly became a staple of American currency. For over a century, this small, iconic coin has been in circulation, with various designs representing different milestones in U.S. history. By 1979, the Lincoln penny had already gone through several transformations. The reverse of the coin had changed from the famous sweet stalks to the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. Little did anyone know that just a couple of decades later, a minor error in the minting process would create one of the most valuable pennies of the 20th century. Chapter 2. The 1979 Lincoln penny. What makes it special? The 1979 penny. At first glance, it looks just like any other coin from that year. It features the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse and President Lincoln on the obverse. So, what's the catch? What's so special about this particular penny? The answer lies in a rare, accidental minting error. In 1979, the Denver Mint produced a large number of pennies, but the small batch of those had a striking anomaly that would later make them incredibly valuable. The error coin we're looking for is known as the close AM variety. Rarest coins. Chapter 3. The close AM error are the key to the $1 million penny. So, what exactly is the close AM error? When the U.S. Mint strikes coins, It uses dies that imprint the designs onto the blanks. In 1979, the mint was in the middle of transitioning to a new reverse design, and during this transition, a mistake was made. Some 1979 pennies struck at the Denver Mint have an unusually close spacing between the A and M in America on the reverse side of the coin. Normally, there is a noticeable gap between the A and M in America on a typical 1979 penny, but the close AM variety has the letters almost touching, sometimes even appearing to overlap. This tiny, but significant error is what makes the 1979 penny so valuable to collectors. Why? Because it's so rare. Rarest coins. Chapter 4. How to identify a 1979 close AM penny. You might be asking, how can I tell if I found one of these rare 1979 close AM pennies? Well, it all comes down to inspecting the reverse side of the coin closely, particularly around the America text. Here's what you need to look for. First, examine the space between the A and M in the word America. On a standard 1979 penny, there should be a noticeable gap between the letters, but on the 1979 close AM penny, the A and M are much closer together, sometimes even touching. Rarest coins. If you spot this error, congratulations, you've found one of the rarest 1979 pennies in existence. But, keep in mind, there are still some variations in how these pennies look, so you should always double-check to ensure it's an authentic error coin. Chapter 5. Why is the 1979 close AM penny worth so much? Now that you know how to identify the 1979 close AM penny, you might